memories of, but I can let that go because it was really relaxing just to sit and enjoy. The one event that I probably wouldn't go to again was the graduation ball. It was very much for younger people. It was really interesting to watch, but I think, I was ready to go after about 20 minutes of watching it. So, I think that's, the young people in our group really enjoyed it more so than, the adults in the group. So, I think that's your choice, Kathy.
How young is young? How young can we go?
Well, the 20-year-olds really enjoyed it.
Can kids go?
Oh, yeah. Anybody could go to the graduation ball, and it's fun. I think we were just exhausted. It had been a long day between the parade and the commissioning and all of that. So I was ready to go back to the house. And the next day is the graduation. So, you kind of have to get ready for that.
Next question, how early, when you say be early, how early is early?
For the,
Like graduation, for example.
we were there, I hate to say it, kind of early, maybe 45 minutes to an hour early.
I was going to say, I think because we were there at the same time, we bumped into each other.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
I think it was at least an hour early that we had gotten up there. So I think you leave, by the time we left, I think we left almost 2 hours before to go there. You get through, because you have to stand in those long lines, you have to park and walk up there.
We figured out, and I don't know how, but Woody drove all the way up to the front gates, weaseled his way up, dropped us off, and then went and parked, which was really nice to have everybody dropped off.
It took us about 20 minutes to get through security.
But it's,
At the
it's
stadium.
very friendly, it's chit-chatty.
I mean, it's like going to a Twins game, except
As
the
long as you have a
line
nice
is,
game,
line is
nice
longer.
day.
No longer.
Denise?
At the football games, they have people with golf carts that can drive, that can take senior citizens up to the gate. Did they have that at graduation as
Yep.
well? That's nice, okay.
And the one thing I did give all of my guests was I made sure everybody had a tube of sunscreen, high-powered sunscreen, and that chapstick with the sunscreen in it. And I took several of those with me to the game, and I was handing those out because people were really kind of parched, and there was a lot of sun unless you had hats. So I was really glad I had done that.
Can I add something? When I was at the football game, I had one of those really lightweight infinity scarves. So that was helpful with my ball hat, and then I was able to lay
That's a
that
good
over
idea.
the top and
Yeah.
really block the sun.
Yep, I used a girlfriend's scarf.
Did you?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So how about for like the senior citizens, you were mentioning the golf cart, is that something that they just have, or is that something you have to reserve?
No, I think they just have them.
Just
They're kind of
circle.
roaming around the parking lot.
So
There
you kind of get your senior
flag them
citizens
down.
on it and then.
They're just
But-
looking for white hairs.
Yeah, but again, if you can sneak up to the front and just, Woody weaseled his way up and said, I'm dropping off my mother-in-law, and so we kind of snuck up and then.
It's not like, it's pretty friendly. It's the academy, so they all understand, but they'll let you get up, but then
Did
then of
you,
course I've. found
did
a
any of
parking
you
spot
for
right there.
did you rent wheelchairs or anything, or you just kind of, they were?
We didn't need to, but
I will say, it really tough decision. I've got an 89-year-old mother who, for a year, I was just in, do we take her, do we not, do we take her, do we not? And I got it, it made the week much easier by not having her there.
But think of all the walking you do around campus and the hills and the steps, and you gotta be careful.
Yeah, we didn't take it.
My mother-in-law's 91, she was living for this.
Yeah.
And she's staying alive, well, she's in
Staying alive for
She
it?
puts on her heels and hose and drives to town
Yeah.
in California. She's great, but she walked up to all the parade fields. She thought about a wheelchair, but she didn't need one. As soon as we got out of the car where they usher you into parking for graduation, the underclassmen are running around with those golf courts, and they picked her up and
Okay.
right immediately, and I accompanied her, so she knew we were going.
Okay.
So, no
Are
problem.
they limited with parking passes?
No, it's the number of cars you can get through the gate. So like we were only
Drivers.
allowed 5 drivers. And
Is that
so,
a limit? Or if you know you have more people, do they
nope,
get
there was a
more,
limit.
or-
So you had to carpool because there was a limit. Andrew could get passes for 5 drivers.
And so the way that worked is you had to have a driver with this driving permit, I guess it was, but then you could have a couple of cars behind
Oh
you.
yeah, each one could have 1 more car.
Yeah, I think
That's
one
right.
more car. So we had 5 people, and I think that was the limit that we're allowed to drive, and they sort of escorted the next car behind.
It's funny, I have a different memory of it. I remember just printing it off the internet, the parking pass. Is that what you're talking about?
No, he had to turn in we had to submit driver's license numbers and
I think we did that.
Yeah, I'm sure we
Did you do that, Kate?
My husband and I both retired from the Air Force, and so we have our IDs. And we had everybody stay in the house where we rented, and we had 2 vehicles. So I was in one car and he was in the other, and we just went through with our IDs. But they weren't even really checking much. I mean, the last couple of days, the first couple of days they checked.
First couple days was.
Yeah.
Well,
And the other thing I wanted to say about graduation was, you know, for the spectators, they have the concession stands, and the ices were really good because it was super hot and you're dripping, and you have hats and sunscreen. But the cadets march in, and you know, Haley hadn't had breakfast that morning. She went to the dining hall, and all her stuff was out of her room. I don't know why she didn't eat breakfast, but they march in. There was no water by their chairs. And they were there the whole time. They couldn't get up and go to the bathroom, and she had no food, no water. So finally, like, she texted me right before the whole, you know, thing was going to end, saying, "Have food for me. I'm starving." And we, you know, I wasn't going to leave in this, you know, that whole hats going up to go get food and wait in these long lines at that point. So. Think about your cadet there. I should have thought ahead and had a ton of water and food for her. She came up in the stands then to watch the Thunderbirds, and she was starving, and she was grumpy, and then she didn't want pictures, and then she just wanted to go out process. And that's where I would have liked to have some pictures with her Lieutenant Bars on.
And sunscreen, you know, they'll forget that too. The other thing is they need the sunscreen because they will not have a broad brimmed hat the way that we all can. Yeah.
And all the professors come in their robes, and they're hiding stuff underneath there.
yeah.
So I have a large purse?
No,
Yeah, they'll,
you can't bring stuff.